Good morning, Western Washington, and happy Friday. I'm Matthew Fab with Western Washington Weather, and today we're going to take a look at the forecast for today, including an area of heavy rain that may set up across parts of the Puget Sound area, and then we'll look at the next few days as we have a few more weak systems moving through and maybe a few breaks in there as well. Starting here at the satellite imagery, you can see lots of clouds and that rain associated with it. Across western Washington, you can see some ridging here offshore that's going to dominate our weather this weekend. So we'll take a look at that in just a moment. Starting here with the weather radar, this is something that is going to be important as we go through the video today. See this area of heavy rain that's starting to form here between Olympia and up toward Everett and Seattle there. Where this sets up is going to bring some locations an entire inch of rain, maybe a little bit more as we go through the day today. So we're going to have to look at this closely in some of the forecast models to see where that is, but it is already starting there across parts of the Seattle metro area. Taking a look here at radar or rain over the past 48 hours, you can see a little bit of a rain shadow here around Everett and parts of Whidbey Island getting about a quarter inch or so, but most of the region getting pretty good amounts of rain out of this. You can see over a half inch up toward an inch there from Olympia up toward Tacoma and Seattle, and then north of Seattle you're looking at about 3/4 of an inch to an inch of rain. The North Cascades really getting nice rain out of this, up to 4.5 inches up there, and the Olympics getting up to 4 inches as well. You can see up to an inch and a half of rain there on the coast. So now looking at our overall pattern, you can see that troughing that is influencing our weather over the next few days here. This is going to move out of the area. We have that ridge that was offshore moving in as we go through the weekend. And then as we go into Sunday, we have troughing moving back into the area as we go into Sunday night. And that's going to bring another system that will last into Monday. And then you can see that troughing moving in again as we go into Wednesday. So taking a look here at the European model, you can see it does show that heavy area of rain, and it really shows it kind of just nailing Seattle there and hanging out all the way until about 7 p.m. tonight. We get heavy, moderate rain across the region, and then that rain diminishes as we go into Saturday afternoon, bringing a few more showers across the region Saturday night, and then we will have some light rain as we go into Sunday night, and then into Monday. That next system moves through. That rain continues on Monday into Monday night, and then we have another system likely moving in by Tuesday until Wednesday. So it's a little bit more uncertain as we go out into that forecast period, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. This is taking a look at a couple of different forecast models here. On the left, we have the European model. On the right, we have the national blend of models from the National Weather Service. But here, I wanted to point this out here on the European model. It is picking up this area of heavier rain, and you can see it shows just through today over an inch of rain there in Seattle and in Tacoma, and about that in Olympia as well, up toward 2 inches in the Willapa Hills there of the Washington coast. And then where that band sets up over the North Cascades there, you can see central North Cascades up to 3 inches of rain through the next 24 hours or so, and areas outside that getting about 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch, maybe up toward 1/3 of an inch or 1/2 inch there along the I-5 corridor up toward Vancouver, BC. And then you can see the coast getting likely about 3/4 of an inch to an inch of rain. A little bit different story here on the National Blend of models, showing some moderate rain across parts of the interior today, but likely about 1/2 inch for most areas instead of a heavy band. You can see up to 2 inches on the coast there, and the Olympics and Cascades getting up to 4 inches, but it doesn't really show that heavy band across the metro area. And then this is the NAM high resolution model here, and you can see it does show that band there, but a little bit further south from Seattle down toward South Hill and Puyallup, and down toward some areas just south of Olympia there, getting over 1 inch of rain with that band just sitting there. And you can see in the Cascades that brings up to 2 to 3 inches as we go through the end of the day today. This is sort of an atmospheric river signature, but it's kind of an atmospheric river that's been broken apart, so it's not really a full-on atmospheric river. It's just a area of heavy rain that's going to be lingering over this area, and I'll do some updates on this on my social media today if that really looks like what's going to happen. Taking a look at snow, we looked at wind yesterday. Wind is nothing really to speak of with this storm, and as we go through Monday and into Tuesday, we may have a little bit of snow at some of the passes with the next couple systems moving through. 1 to 2 inches there at White Pass, 3 to 4 inches at Stevens Pass, and maybe an inch at Snoqualmie Pass, so not really much of anything. You can see some of the North Cascades picking up some decent snow through the next couple days here, but really at the higher elevations, and it does sound like the North Cascades Highway will be closing as well, so that's not going to be an issue with snow falling up there anymore, which is kind of expected. You see Mount Baker maybe picking up about 8 inches with this next few systems as we go to the middle of next week. Then taking a look at these temperature outlooks going into the middle to end of next week, you can see below average temperatures continue for the west, and then that above average large rainfall continues for basically the entire country, including the Pacific Northwest, where we will remain on the wetter side, even though it is typically quite wet in November. This is the European Model Ensemble forecast. And I want to point this out because we've been using this to look at the extended, and you can see that we are going to remain active here over the next couple weeks. We may have a break here about the middle of next week, but we will likely turn a little bit more active as we go toward the end of next week. But I wanted to zoom in on the most recent run here for SeaTac Airport, and you can see that there are multiple members of the European Model Ensemble that are picking up that heavier area of rain that's going to sit over parts of the area today. You can see that ensemble averages up to about 3/4 of an inch of rain in 24 hours, while your control run, which is your first one right here, shows about an inch of rain in 24 hours. So there's definitely going to be some heavy rain out there if this band materializes, and I will be posting about that on my social media if it does. Don't forget, 3 days left for 20% off everything on the Western Washington Weather merch store. Link is in the description below, so go and check that out. And so yeah, thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe here to Western Washington Weather, and then follow my social media for the latest updates. Western Washington Weather Facebook group, and then my Twitter and Blue Sky accounts. So thank you all very much for watching. Stay safe and dry out there, and I'll talk to you all later.